For centuries, the prophecies of Nostradamus have been part of the historical record. While highly speculative and controversial, their author's legacy endures. Viewer discretion is advised. Years ago, if the Earth spun perfectly on its axis, the view of the sky above would never change. But because it spins slightly off-center in a wobble motion, our view of the stars shifts slowly over time. Every 26,000 years, this background lines up so that the Sun appears to rise directly in front of the center of the galaxy, creating what some call the galactic alignment that may lie ahead.
Because of heat like that of the Sun on the sea, the fish around Negroponte will be half-cooked, when in Rhodes and Genoa there is lack of food.
Some interpreters believe that this Nostradamus quatrain points to
tools to be able to deal with this kind of change.
Nostradamus seems to predict the extreme results of a climate change.
This is Century 5, Quatrain 98.
At a latitude of 48 degrees at the end of Cancer, there is a very great drought. Fish in the sea, river and lake boiled hectic from fire in the sky.
You look on a map, you look at the northern hemisphere, and all the great grain belts of the world are intersected.
Atop the summit, fractures will appear. The lightning will shatter the stones. 3 withered chains bound up around the middle.
Does the phrase, "lightning will shatter the stones," mean the pyramids of Giza will be destroyed at a future date? Some researchers believe that the layout of the Egyptian pyramids points to future planetary shifts and perhaps end of days.
Conjoined here in the sky, manifested, it enters, little rain. The sky and earth dries, undone, death, caught, arrived at a bad hour.
Like the Egyptians, Nostradamus believes that messages about the future are written in the heavens. Researchers point to this Nostradamus prediction as a metaphorical warning about the potential weakening of the Earth's magnetic field.
The Earth's magnetic field is in the process of changing and perhaps weakening in spots and showing its vulnerabilities. And anybody who's ever watched Star Trek, you know, the shields are down, bad.
When the magnetic fields are strong, they deflect the solar wind that is coming from our sun and the incoming particles from the universe beyond. And when those fields are weak, they have less ability to do that, meaning that more solar influence reaches the Earth, heats up the atmosphere of the Earth, as correlated now with melting the ice caps, the increase in the sea level.
As the Earth's magnetic field wears down, the Earth is left open to a frightening array of problems.
If the magnetic fields of the Earth were to collapse to zero and go through reversal, with a planet of 6 billion people based in computer technology, GPS satellites, our way of life would change dramatically.
A magnetic pole reversal could mean that the south and north poles would switch their magnetic charges. Some believe the resulting interference would be extremely disruptive to all the signals that our modern society sends through the sky.
What we would see down here on Earth would be a major collapse of all electronic communications. Our communication satellites would go down, our cell phones would no longer work. Anything that had to communicate through or work on an
of the lost book.
There will be a solar eclipse more dark and gloomy than any since the creation of the world. And it will be such that one will think the gravity of the Earth has lost its natural movement, and that it is to be plunged into the abyss of perpetual darkness.
Could this eclipse be a reference to the sun blocking the dark center of the galaxy during the galactic alignment? And what does this disturbing image portend?
Nostradamus does mention in particular a very powerful eclipse of the sun that will be a marker point for major disasters to take place on a planetary level.
Will the coming of the galactic alignment bring disaster? Is the date of 2012 the beginning of the end? And why does the dark rift at the center of the Milky Way galaxy seem to